Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video and the Commander rerun, because we haven't had enough reruns in the past 2 months, is here. And I mean, it's not that old if we look at it. Commander came out in late May, so we've had 1, 2, 3, now 4 teams come out after it. So this is by no means old, but it's still more than a few months old, so people may not have had a chance to get this free-to-play Glenda. She's okay. She's not the best free-to-play unit, but she is quite necessary for the Commander team to give them synergy rate and to be the double alt swapper for a stacking blue team. So she's a very useful pickup, if anything. But because this is an old fight, I'm going to have at least, I think, 2 videos linked in the video description for older teams that I use to clear EX2, because that's what we're doing today. And so today is only going to be focused on the 4 teams that have come out after Commander came out. So Prosper, Ogre's Pride, Protectors of Peace, and then the new Antagonist meta. So let's just go ahead and get started with those. Alright, first up is going to be the stupid Prosper team. It is single target. It is crit focused, but if you have Rimuru, you can lower the crit resistance by 100%, which pretty much means you're doing even damage, I think. I think, can't remember, Benny Maru, right? Benny Maru has some amount of crit resistance. I'm trying to find how much it is. It is at least 50% that he stacks, so not a huge dilemma. But then we have Almizia for the ult resistance down, ult damage up, free to play Rieger, who's not going to be able to convert our turn 1, so we're going to have to kind of make do with that. And then Lumi for the full converts. Benny Maru doesn't do a lot of damage to us, so we don't need her revive or her healing skill at all. She's just here to pretty much convert. And then we've brought Earth 2.0 Mirren, because this is a stacking fight. We're going to be here for a little bit. And she raises Earth attack by up to like 60% or something, or higher, as the further along you go in the fight, and stat swaps, and a lot of this team has defensive stats. You look at her, she's got 13.6k defense and only 10.7 attack. When she uses that, she'll flip that, so she'll have 13,500 attack instead. Rimuru, it's not going to work that well for him because he's already attack focused, but it'll give him the Earth attack buff alongside the ult and the ult down and the crit and the magic attack and all that. So it'll work out fine. So turn 1, since we don't have a green converter, and I also didn't bring a skill point unit for slot 1, we're just going to send the 4 blues. That will get us a protection gauge Maribel, who honestly also is not that important. No one is dark on our team, so we're not getting the weakness strike stacks from her. Again, Benny Maru doesn't do that much damage to us, so we're not really in dire need of her guard and super guard. What we really want is the skill points on blues more than anything else, just so we can try and get, as many points and as much alt gauge as possible. And so here, I mean, we're stacking a bunch of useless things, and we're using a bunch of useless skills to get to a turn 8, turn 9 nuke. Actually, it's going to be turn 9, because Benny Maru has a shield. On EX2, it's 9 hits, which is going to take 2 turns minimum, unless you get some lucky counterattacks using this team. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're going to have to take 2 turns to break the barrier, which means that on turn 7, when he reapplies it, we have to go 2 turns after that. So turn 8, which is your traditional nuke turn, is going to be hitting a barrier. And so you'd have to save up and nuke on turn 9, and then still send 3 orbs prior to that, and then break the barrier, and then nuke him. So thankfully, he doesn't have a lot of HP. It's like 400 or 500,000. 478k on EX2. It's not that much, so by just virtue of the amount of buffs that we have with this team, with Almizia and Rimuru's buff, and Mirren's buff technically, we're going to do plenty of damage. Even with a defensive-focused, not great stacking team, we can still get the job done. So, you don't have to use double stacks of Maribels. You only have to use 1, so you pretty much always want to make sure that you have a Maribel active to get the extra skill points on blues. And if you have 2 of her, just save 1, and you just always have 1 in reserve. So Rieger is going to ult swap away. We're close to an EX ult for Rimuru. Here's turn 7. He's reapplied the barrier, so he's going to go away. I don't really need the EX ult right here. So he's just going to go so we can convert this. And then, yeah, send it like that. Okay, I bring Almesia in from Mirren. That's fine, whatever. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Did I use the stat swap already? I might have. I can't remember, actually. I guess we'll find out when I look at the skills. Well, okay, so looking at the hand, everyone's still Earth and Fire. So it looks like I did not use it. Not being the keyword. Yeah, I did not use the stats, or I did not use the stat swap skill. I don't think we need to, though, to be perfectly honest. This will get Remer's EX ult off of these 3 blue orbs, and then we'll also break the barrier on turn 8. So we're going to be looking pretty good. There's the EX ult. We also have an ult with Mirren. That's cool, I guess. Rimuru has not really taken any damage here thus far, so we're not really in danger of losing any of his crit resistance, because the lower his health is, the lower your crit resistance debuff happens to be. But because he hasn't lost really anything, we're going to use his skill, which gives him magic attack, gives us 150 points. Now we can use his full power of his crit resistance down and guaranteed crits, and then the Almesia ult up and ult down, and then we'll just send this, and Rimuru does 496. So he would have one-shot with Benimaru at full HP. And remember, we are not stacking anything super useful on this team. So even the almost useless Prosper team can get the job done. Alright, next up is the Ogre's Pride team. Does way too much damage. We know this. This is the highest damaging team we've ever received in the game thus far. And it's not going to have any issues on a blue stacking stage. Even though, again, we're not really type advantage. We do have Soe, who is dark. He's not the primary damage dealer of this team. It's either Shuna or Momiji, and you can see that we did not bring stupid Shuna. We're also not bringing Violet, or Almesia, actually. We're making some substitutions because I understand that not everyone has Violet, not everyone has Almesia, and no one should have Shuna, really. So we've got Benimaru, we've got Soe, he's very good. Free-to-play Water Rimuru, free-to-play, old 4-star unit. People should get him. EX Guy, he's been around since the 1.5 anniversary. He's been here for a while. It's not, necessary that you have him, but I just wanted a special converter that handled greens well. If you wanted to bring Water Shuna instead, that's an alt buff. That's really the only reason I'm really bringing Benimaru, or not Benimaru, but Guy. His guaranteed crits is only for physical. This is not a physical team, so don't worry about that. If you just bring an alt damage buffer. And then Momiji is the DPS. Even being AoE, we've proven that she doesn't really give a fuck. And then Blanc is simply here to orb change. The synergy resistance down is cool. The weakness strike does not apply to Momiji at all. And we're already getting synergy resistance down from Momiji anyways. So if you don't have Blanc and you want to use Prosper Rieger, Tempest Elite Benimaru, go right ahead. She's not really bringing all that much to our team, damage-wise. So, because we have brought both Rimuru and Guy, we can actually convert turn 1 here. We're going to use Rimuru since Guy's is much more useful because it's a triple convert and it's got a different color attached to it. So, Rimuru comes out, he changes greens and his own orbs, which is really versatile, and we're just going to try and focus on getting an Almesia, or not Almesia, but a oh, Jesus Christ. Momiji. Focusing on getting a Momiji ult. This is a good hand. We could use Guy, could use Soe, we could bring Water Rimuru in. It really doesn't matter what we do here. We have multiple ways to convert it. We're going to use Soe, so we just leave him up front and not have to worry about it. It would have been probably more realistically good to use Rimuru and just bring him in for Guy, but I wanted Guy's protection gauge on turn 3 more than anything else, so that's why we didn't just swap him in and out. So, what do you know? We're stacking for 9 turns, because again, we have no way to break the barrier efficiently, so we have to burn 2 turns to fully break it, and then we can nuke. So, a lot of wasted time here, a lot of wasted damage that we're not getting. Thankfully, Benimaru for turn 1 to 7 is kind of shit. And then on turn 8, that's when he gives you the big time buffs that really super duper matter. So, we're sending Soe last, because even though the barrier's up, he would do extra damage because he is type advantage. And look at this shit hand. It doesn't really matter, though, now does it? So we'll use Blanc to alt swap away, and then we'll bring Guy in, and then we'll use Soei's convert, and he'll handle the other 2 orbs that are not changed, regardless of the color, which is what makes Soei so very good. So alt swap, or we can bring Rimuru in. Like, it doesn't really matter all that much, but it's more effective to bring Guy because he's going to change 3 of them. So boom, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now look, we're ready to go. We're very close to an EX alt from Momiji because we're running the alt gauge on Blue Charm. The barrier's down. Whoop-de-friggin' do. And now we just need to build up. And I want to ensure that we have some way to use the 300 skill points on turn 9 when we're ready to nuke. That way we can get the full power off of Soei. Not that I think we need it because the stage already is weak to synergy. But I just want it because I want Momiji to do big stupid damage. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of math because we do not have enough units here, I believe, to fully maximize that. Or no, actually maybe we do, and it's the Protector of Peace team that I'm thinking of. I think it's the Protector of Peace team because we can use Blanc's 80, Guy's 80, Momiji's 280s. So yeah, okay, so that puts us at 320 right there. So we're gonna have enough with this team. The Protectors of Peace team is where I have to do stupid math on a calculator somewhere off screen and make sure that we can actually make this work. So turn 6, we are going to get the Momiji EX ult here, looking pretty good. He's going to reapply the barrier on turn 7 though, so again another burned turns of nothing, and he's already down quite a hefty bit of damage. And now I think we just wait. So we'll alt swap this turn away, bring Water Rimuru in. Swapping out Guy brings that green orb, so we can use his convert here, bring Blanc in, do the alt swap. This will get us to the 400 point cap that we need, and then 2 stacks of Benimaru. And then because we're burning another turn, we're actually going to have 450 points on the nuke, which is cool. Doesn't really mean anything. So it just is an extra turn that you have to use. So barrier's up. Now on turn 8, like we very much could have just sent an ult and 2 orbs and then the Momiji ult. Very possible, but I'm not going to because I don't know. I want to be difficult, I guess. And we'll just send this. Cool. Max points, 450 now. 2 full stacks of Benimaru, which I didn't use last turn. So we could have gotten at least another stack out of him. So another 10% ult damage. We're going to do enough damage, though, so it's not that big a deal. So now 450, we're really safe. So 80 there. That means nothing except... Well, it would mean something for Soei if he were to be the one nuking, but he's not. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll use Soei's final 80-point buff, and that's now at 100% synergy power. And then 2 stacks of Benimaru, 20% extra ult damage, but more importantly, 100% pierce power, because it's after turn 8. And now Momiji, I think we send, 1 orb, and then we send the ult. She does 60k. Even though the stage nerfs Pierce, we still do almost 1 million. I'd say that's pretty good. On a not super whaled, optimized out team, right? Because we're missing the big time other support units, Elmezia and Violet. Still plenty of damage. You'd still more than, like, we did double his health regardless. You could swap out Guy, you could swap out Blanc. They didn't for other orb changers. Like, as long as you have an alt buffer, you're going to do roughly the same amount of damage. So you're going to be okay. Okay. Protectors of Peace is not really built for this stage. It nerfs greens. It doesn't really want crits. It can handle the barrier, though, because Hinata has the multi-hit on green orbs. So, I mean, that's cool, I guess. We've swapped out AoE Rimuru because he's not doing jack shit for this team except being a single orb changer. And then we've also taken out Xion for Guy. So we've got Veldora because we need his green buff to counteract the debuff that's happening on the stage. And then we brought Guy to give us a turn 1 hand of blues so we can at least get Masayuki. It's just that after that, things get kind of rough because we only have Geld and Veldora as our green orb changers. So this run took me quite a long time last night to do. So, turn one, and this is why we brought Guy to begin with, so we can get a full hand of blue orbs. This will get us a decent amount of protection gauge. Not that we need it initially, because we're not doing traditional stacking here. We're getting the Prosper attack stack mechanic, so more attacks based on what I don't even remember what it's called. Something with an A. I've already kind of deleted the Protector to Peace team from my head. Where is he right now? Is it Inspire? Yeah, it's Inspire. It does not start with an A. Look at that. But we kind of lucked out, and we got an entire hand of Shizu orbs, which, while cool, is not the primary nuker, because we're trying to nuke with our single target Dark Hinata, because she is physical and she is dark. But at least we don't have to really convert this hand. We can just put the green buff on, so we help those 2 green orbs, and then we can put some skill points on to give us some extra points, and then we can just reset with Geld and everything. So we're going to burn this hand away. We'll put some more skill points on these greens, so that next turn we can actually get something back, hopefully. Yeah, we get almost 100 points. That's fine. The barrier we're not going to break here, but we're not really in a place to set it up to break said barrier. And now we're looking okay, because we have almost a full hand. We have this ult for Shizu, which is going to help us retain more green orbs. We had another green orb incoming, though, and I needed to swap Shizu out. So we can use Veldora's convert for his orb, and then Geld's convert for that Hinata orb, and then we can reset. We have the gauge increase from Veldora still active, so we'll put more of the skill point gain, and now we're off to a good start, because we still have points now. We're going to get a lot of it back. The green buff is still active from Veldora, which will be reset now, and we can use it next turn. And now we can try and get a reasonable amount of alt gauge for Hinata, except when we get a shit hand like this. So we'll just do this. We'll bring people in for their protection gauge traits, and we'll burn a hand here. Not really that big of a deal. This looks honestly a lot better, because we can alt swap away, and then we can bring Geld in for Shizu, and then convert his hand with, his and Hinata's orbs. So we'll use the green buff again, get 70%. The stage nerfs it by 80, so we're only losing 10%. Not a super huge deal, and we're getting a lot of skill points now. Reset with Masayuki. We can now start using the multi-hit, which, I mean, we could have done last turn as well to get extra attack stacks. Are we not going to use it? Am I not going to use it? Oh, I don't use it. Okay, well, we're going to use it next turn. We're going to use it next turn. I had enough points to really use it here. I could have used it like twice or something. But we're going to use it now because the multi-hit barrier is up. And sure, whatever. Get a good hand. We only need to use the convert. We don't need to do anything else. We could bring in Shizu for her trait if we really, really wanted to, but stacks of Masayuki are not nearly as important, especially when we're about to nuke. This should get us the EX alt for... Actually, no, we have to bring Shizu in for the alt swap. Now we're making sure that the Veldora buff is active. We'll put one more stack of Weakness Strike on, and then we'll take Geld away. No, we'll take... who are we taking away here? Do we take Geld? Yeah, I think we take Geld away, so that's why we're using his skills. And now I'm trying to calculate how many skill points I have to use to hit that 300 point limit that Hinata needs to be at full power. So alt swap, here we go, full hand of greens. We're going to get a lot of points back. Not quite cap, but 390, which does math out to exactly what I need to do, plus 10 points, based on the skills that I have and their current costs. So we take that hit. More importantly, we broke the barrier because of the multi-hits. We don't need to worry about that. We don't have to... What the fuck? Okay, my Twitter apparently just decided to turn sound on when I was recording, so that's cool. Unpause. Alright, so we've made the cut. I've done the math. So we'll use the Shizu buff, the Guy buff, and the multi-hit from Hinata, and then we can bring in Geld and use his 75-point buff. And then that'll put us at 90, but more importantly, that puts us at 300 skill points used. So now we get the full crit resistance down debuff from Hinata, and that means we're going to do a lot of damage. 112 on normal orb, and then her ult does 2.4 million. Much and more than enough damage to kill Benimaru here. So, I mean, it's rough. It can work. It's just, you're better off using just some other blue stacking team. Please, for the love of God, save yourself the heartache and just use, like, Warrior's Mind or Commander or something. Jesus. And the final team, Antagonist, Mills. Oranges are not nerfed in this stage, so you can use orange teams. It's just that, you know, do they do enough damage? We're bringing Dark Shinsha. She is on Antagonist. She is Dark, so she has type advantage. Not that being on Antagonist really means anything, because we'd only get that buff if we were facing a Dark enemy, not being a Dark character. But she's got her buff. She is not skill fused right now. I will skill fuse her for her own video later on, but she is just her standard self. We brought Wadarimaru for the turn 1 convert. We brought Idol Shuna for the alt swap and the synergy buff, since this is a synergy focused stage, and she's giving the full synergy buff to magic allies, which Dark Shinsha is. We've brought Swimsuit Shizu for the weakness strike buff, and another alt swapper in case we want to use that. And the weakness strike does last for multiple turns, 2 to be exact, so we can get a little bit of extra damage out of some normal orbs. And then we brought the new Shinsha for the light and dark alt buff, which Dark Shinsha is dark, so she'll benefit from that. And then the pierce resistance down, which Emil's is giving us pierce rate. Turn 1, Wadarimaru. This is the only reason why he's here. If you have a different green orb changer and you don't have Wadarimaru, then bring him instead. Bring them, doesn't matter who. We'll bring Shizu in, we'll bring Shinsha in. They have turn 2 protection traits underneath them. We'll send Shinsha last. We again have no way to deal with the barrier, but we don't have to go to turn 8 now because this is a burst team, quote unquote. So we're going to try and kill him by just getting through the first barrier iteration, and then killing him before he can activate the second one on turn 7. And because Dark Shinsha is not an EX character, she does not need a whole butt-ton of orbs to get her EX ult. We just need enough to get a normal ult gauge, which we get here. Perfect. And because we had extra points left over, we could use the weakness strike. And again, because that lasts for 2 turns, we can have that applied to these orbs, and now she can still retain it, and we can send her away. And we've got an 80-point buff, and we've got a 55-point buff, and a 50-point buff. So we're going to bring Idol Shuna in, use her synergy buff, and then her green alt swap. And now we'll send Dark Shinsha away. And maybe, well, we're not going to take Light Shinsha out. But here, Emil's will convert the entire hand. We've now got the weakness strike and the synergy power buff ready to go and held on Dark Shinsha. So we just need to get maximum points here and break the barrier. So this is 6 orbs. We need to send 3 more before we can nuke. And do we... I don't remember. Do we send this hand? Or... I think we send it. And just break him. Yeah, we're going to do that. So another full convert right here. Perfect. This will get the EX ult for the new Shinsha, which is cool. She's AoE. She's type neutral. She's not going to have all the other buffs that the other Shinsha has, but it doesn't really matter. We've got 95 points, so we're going to 100% get what we need, the 130, so we can use the 80 and the 50-point buff from the new Shinsha. And then we'll nuke on turn 5 before he can reapply the shield, and hopefully it does enough damage with our normal Shinsha. But the thing about Dark Shinsha is her skill gets better at turn 8. It is not turn 8, it is turn 5. So it's going to be not as powerful as it should be traditionally, which does hold us back a bit. So we've got 3 alts. We'll send Dark Shinsha first, and then we will send the other alts. See, this is not what I should have done. I should have flipped the orbs around. I thought Shinsha would kill right here, but she does not. She only does like 250k. So I thought that we were going to just see the normal orb damage and then one shot. And unfortunately, because I sent the orbs in the wrong order, we didn't actually kill on turn 5. So, we did get another ult for Shinsha, though. So we know she's going to kill turn 6. It's just kind of unfortunate that I made a slight misplay right there. But Shinsha still managed to kill. She crit there, which definitely hurt our damage, but hey, the Antagonist team was also able to take out EX2. So there we go. There are the 4 teams that have come out after the Commander meta, clearing the EX2 stage of the Commander beatdown battle. Again, if these 4 teams don't work for you, I'll have links to other videos in the description below for other teams I used when this beatdown battle first came out 4 months ago. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.